It was either him or me at the rate that we were going at, because we were on a really, really bad rate. The amount of Xanax that I was taking daily was insane. It was not like a normal amount. And I always had this thing in my head where I was like, I could wean off it myself. Like, I had enough pills. I didn't just get addicted to the pills. I got addicted to buying them too, and having like that. I just that adrenaline of going and buying the pills and stuff. I got addicted to that too. So I had a huge stash. And I remember just always saying, oh, I have so much. I can just wean off this myself. I could just do it myself. But no, you can't.
Well, I love the San Gabriel Valley.
Welcome to the My SGV podcast.
So I grew up here and I still live in Alhambra.
I was raised in between Temple City and Alhambra.
Eventually resided in South San Gabriel.
Our mission is to capture and share the stories of the people of the San Gabriel Valley.
Monterey Park has pretty much been my whole life.
Well, I'm proud to say that I was born and raised in the San Gabriel Valley.
We believe our diversity is what makes the SGV great. And no matter where you are from in the San Gabriel Valley, you will feel welcome. All right, SGVers, welcome back to another episode of the My SGV podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you are new here, we bring you the stories of the people of the San Gabriel Valley. And if you are a returning listener, thank you so much for spending your time with us. We very much appreciate it. Well, Shaunt, I came to know you through your restaurant, through your dad and that whole experience. And one of the things I love about going there is hearing your dad call out my name as I walk in. And then when you took over, it was the same experience. And I was like, that's freaking dope.
Nothing changed.
Yeah.
Yep, carrying on the torch.
So he must have instilled that in you, like, or did you just want to take that on yourself?
Yeah, no, I just learned from him, just followed his steps,
Because that's like the most, like that feeling is the best thing.
Of course, that's what we hear all the time. That's what I hear too, yeah, from customers. Like, it's the best feeling.
Yeah.
That's why I come back, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's such a strange thing too, And then in my mind, I'm like, how can you remember everybody's name?
I really don't know. I wonder myself too. I don't know how we do it, to be honest with you. It's just, it's crazy how like he does it and everyone was amazed, that he could do that. And then for me to be able to do it too it's wild, because it's like, what if I wasn't able to do it? It wouldn't have been the same. People wouldn't have felt that same connection with me as they did with him. But for some reason, I can do it too. So it must be in the DNA,
And it's not forced. It doesn't seem like it's like a mandatory thing. It feels very natural. And that's the crazy thing about it.
Of course, it's natural. Yeah, because, like you can go to other restaurants plenty of times and the people there won't even recognize you each time that you go in, but it's like something that we have in ourselves, like, it comes out of us naturally, to take care of our customers the way we do.
Absolutely. Yeah. So before we get into your story, though, I want to thank the sponsors for the show, Paris Baguette. Go check them out in the city of San Gabriel, right there on the corner of Las Tunas and I think Mission Road or Mission Drive, one of those two. But when you walk in, you see the plethora of delicious pastries. They also have cakes. They also have sandwiches. So go check them out and say hi to Jason and Joanna for us. I don't remember you being there early on when I started going to Lee's Hoagie House. And that's the name of your family's restaurant. And, then I started seeing you later on. And then when we got to start talking, you had this story, right? And I was like, oh man, that's something, even if you weren't part of that whole restaurant and your father, your story is still quite awesome. So I'm anxious to get that story and to be able to share with our audience and to hear it for the first time myself in detail.
Yeah.
But let's start with what's your connection to the San Gabriel Valley?
My connection, pretty much the restaurant. I wasn't like raised really. I lived in Pasadena until I was like maybe 2 or 3, and then we moved over to La Cañada, and I went to school in that La Crescenta, La Cañada area. But I was still very active in the Pasadena area because I had a lot of friends that went to school there, and obviously the restaurant. I was always at the restaurant as a kid growing up, so the restaurant would be the biggest connection, and
Sure.
then just growing up there, going to PHS events and private Armenian school. There was a school called AGBU. It no longer exists, but in high school, going to all their events, and mostly that, yeah.
I refereed at AGBU, so I know. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were, I used to want to go there. I was I used to beg my parents to send me there because I had a lot of friends there, and but I went to Crescenta Valley instead. But I had a blast there too.
So Lee's Hoagie House is located in Pasadena. More detailed is East Pasadena.
East Pasadena.
On Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely in the San Gabriel Valley.
Mm-hmm.
So you sort of grew up in, like, I don't know what that is. It's not really the San Fernando Valley, but it's on the outskirts of San Gabriel Valley. You have a lot of connections here. And what is your ethnic background?
Armenian.
Yeah. And I know from friends and many former guests, there's many different types of Armenians. So
yes,
you're from...
we are from Beirut, Lebanon area. So we're more Lebanese Armenian. And
yes.
There's Russian Armenians. And
Armenian.
And yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Iranian Armenian from Iran, Persian, like that, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So did you grow up culturally like Armenian or Lebanon or like Lebanese?
Armenian. Yeah, I mean Armenian, and then but our food, like mostly like when you say like you're Lebanese or when you're Armenian or like Russian Armenian, what you really mean is like your dialect that you speak. There's 3 different dialects, so I grew up with my own dialect, and then there's the foods. The foods are all different. So there's 3 different types of cultural foods, that we have, like, and the Lebanese Armenian eat things a certain way, and the Persian Armenians eat things a certain way, and the Russian Armenians eat things a certain way. So it's really diverse, and there's foods that I see from like Russian Armenians, and I won't touch it because I just don't like it. It doesn't look good to me. And then there's other things that are amazing that I love, but we don't know how to make it. So that's, yeah.
And my Armenian friends would say, like, as, let's say, an Asian person, I can identify different details of other Asians, like that he could identify if they were Russian or Lebanese.
Absolutely, yeah. Of course, yeah.
Like on site, you could just tell.
Yeah, just like how you can with your culture, we can with our culture. Absolutely.
Yeah.
From just the way they speak, or just before they even speak, but too, just looking at them.
So did your family maintain those traditions of like Lebanese Armenian culture in your home growing up?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah, I mean, my parents are pretty Americanized. If I'm gonna be honest, so like, Armenian was my first language, and then of course English was my second. I went to public school my whole life up until I went to Armenian school private until kindergarten, and then first grade until high school public school. So we spoke Armenian in the house mostly growing up, and but as we got older, my parents are more Americanized, so I did kind of like lose that touch of speaking Armenian, especially going to public school, speaking English all the time. But we still have the culture at all times, pretty much, yeah. Is
there a large population of Armenians in Crescenta Valley, like up there?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Like Glendale?
Glendale, La Crescenta, Montrose. Glendale, of course. I mean, everybody knows that one. Yeah,
sure.
I think the Armenian population in Glendale is larger than the country of Armenia itself. Actually, I think that's like a real fact. Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, my high school. I had friends from my high school, La Crescenta area, that I went to private preschool with. In Armenia, in private Armenian preschool, and we grew up like that. And then we went to high school together. Just a bunch of Armenians, but we mixed and matched with other races too. We didn't just have our own little clique or anything.
Sure. Yeah. Like there's Caucasians, Latinos, Asians at those schools.
Asians, Hispanics, Caucasians, like you said, Latinos, yeah.
And what was it like growing up for you in that area? Like, what was your youth like?
You know what? I grew up in specifically La Cañada, and I started to go to public school in La Cañada, first through 9th grade. I was in La Cañada, and it was a little tough being like Armenian and being surrounded by predominantly whites mostly. And
tough, how so?
when I was in like middle schoolish, you know, I started to grow like facial hair and like hair on my arms. I remember just getting like picked on and stuff for those things.
Really?
Yeah, I used to get like picked on like that, like because I was growing a mustache at like 7th grade or 6th, 7th grade, I think, because you know Armenians are known to be like hairy and stuff. So it was kind of hard, and that's kind of what drew me away from La Cañada, and I switched over to Crescenta Valley, and because I had more friends there, I was more comfortable there. But I just remember like getting picked on there and a little bit of prejudiceness against me. So I wasn't so comfortable like during those times until I made that switch. And 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, I was at Crescenta Valley High School, and I was just super comfortable there. Because there was just more diverse. And yeah.
What were you and your friends into?
In high school or
both?
In middle school, you know, we were just little kids playing basketball, mostly computer games, video games. And then in high school, you know, we started to go down the partying road. And we would just party, man, in high school pretty much. You know, like mostly anyone would, I think. But what do you mean? Like, what else would you mean? Like, into, like, in what way?
Like, what were your hobbies? What sort of things did you guys look forward to?
Skateboarding. I remember, like, 7th grade, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, we would skateboard a lot around La Cañada, La Crescenta, the skate parks. We would just, you know, all day, just our after school or if it was summer, hit the streets, skateboard, hit schools, you know, like, hit some stairs, whatever, things like that. We would do that, bike ride. We were always out, man. I remember we were always out and about. It's not like now when people are always on their phones or kids are always on their phones. We would take the bus places. We would walk, skate. We would just do a lot of stuff. We would always be out, just having fun, you know. It's not like how it is now.
Sure.
Yeah.
And were you required or expected to help out at the restaurant? Like while you were...
Never. No.
Oh.
Never. Like in high school...
Or as a child?
No, as a child, no, never, no. My dad never pushed me. That was never in my, like, it was never in my plans or anything like that.
He never said, like, oh, one day you're going to work here, one day you're going to take it over?
No, never, yeah.
You never had an interest in that?
Not really, no. To be honest, I just was, after I finished high school, I went to, like, PCC for a little bit, and I didn't really know what I was going to do. I was just kind of I was lost, man, to be honest. I was really lost.
I was just going to ask you, like, did you know who you were? Did you know, like, you know?
Not at all. And, you know my story that, you know, we're going to get into it, but that's, like, kind of where it started. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just wasting time mostly, just partying and being, like, useless, dude, honestly.
Well, partying. So, like, did you just gravitate towards that and your friends were into that, or do you look back and you see like you were trying to escape or fix something? Like what are your thoughts on that?
I think in high school, you know, it's just a norm, like everyone's doing it and you gotta do it too or whatever, or like just like drinking and smoking weed and stuff like that, and it's high school, you know, whatever. But then after we finished high school, we just like, you know, continued it and didn't really have like a plan or what to do. Some of us did, some of us didn't. So it's just wasn't really like an escape yet, but we didn't know what we were doing with ourselves, to be honest. Yeah.
Did your parents know that you were drinking and smoking at that time?
Yeah, my parents knew that I smoked weed since like high school. Yeah, and drinking. I mean, I had a lot of parties at my house.
Oh, at your house?
Yeah.
Oh, you were that kid.
My parents were a little bit of enablers, kind of. You like, even though they weren't like, you know, they weren't dumb. You know, they knew what was going on. But they're like, okay, if it's under my supervision, kind of like that, you know. But there was a lot of stuff at my house, yeah. 16th birthday, 18th birthday, and then just little get-togethers. My house was the spot. If you ask my parents, they know there's a little back corner in the backyard of our house, and like that was just our spot right there. Every night we would just hang out there multiple times a week.
And smoke.
and smoke weed, just chill. Yeah. Yeah. People would just like, I would just go sit in the back there at like 7 p.m. and slowly like people would just roll through, you know, without even, you know, just the regular people. They would just come through because they knew we were hanging there. Yeah.
Did they ever at one point like try to get you to stop or say that, you know, this was not something they wanted?
Yeah, the weed when it first started, you know, they weren't like happy with it and stuff. But then I was fine. I was just, I don't know. They didn't really like, my parents didn't really punish me too much. I don't know. Like it was weird. I had a lot of like freedom and just doing whatever I wanted, kind of, sort of. Yeah. I remember I got like suspended from school because I got caught smoking weed. And I got brought in by the cops, and then they suspended me, and my mom picked me up, and then just a couple of weeks later, you know, everything was back to normal. I was just doing whatever I wanted again, pretty much, just hanging out.
Like you didn't get in trouble with your parents?
No, like, you know, they were mad, but, you know, nothing really changed. I just kept going, went about my life again. Everything was the same.
Do you wish that they had been more strict with you?
I don't know. I mean, not really, no. I think it was okay. It was fine. Especially like after all the other stuff that happened, I don't regret anything, you know. It just everything that I went through, it made me who I am today. I'm completely sober now, you know. I don't smoke, and I very rarely drink anymore. Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So, you know, here you're just doing sort of high school stuff, drinking, smoking weed. But then it progressed into, you know, something more than that.
Yeah, it progressed into like prescription pills. That was my poison. That one was the poison. Xanax specifically.
How did you get introduced to that?
I really don't remember exactly how I got introduced to it. I just know probably we were hanging around and someone probably just gave it to me. I think I remember seeing someone take it before I had even taken it. I remember seeing a friend take it and seeing how like it affected him, and and then I don't remember the first time I ever took it. It just happened, I guess. And then I was always into like being down, like being asleep, like down, or like weed, and just like being like knocked out kind of. And Xanax, that's what it does. It just chills you out. It's an anti-anxiety, and it just knocks you out.
Like, it's not a party drug, right?
No, it's not. It's not a party drug. It just makes you fall. I was asleep like everywhere, man. Everywhere I would just be like knocked out like this. Like.
So what's the appeal to that then? That, you know, if you're not experiencing some euphoria, what's the appeal?
I don't know. That's just something that I liked. I don't know why. I think it was just cool to just shut things out and just not be awake and just like, I don't know.
When I hear that, I hear like there's something massive you don't want to think about or feel or
probably
something.
Wasn't happy with myself, maybe. Yeah. Probably just wasn't happy with who I was. And then, I don't know. I mean, it went on for a long time. And
I heard Xanax is pretty addictive.
Yeah, very addictive. Yeah, extremely addictive.
And dangerous to come off of.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. Yeah, so I had to. I got off of it like once by myself, and it was hard. It was hard and dangerous. You know, you can have a seizure and die. I got off it once myself, and then I relapsed. And then the second time, I was in detox and rehab.
You said prescription pills. So were there more than just Xanax?
If I got my hands on, if everything was available, I would get it, like just painkillers and stuff. But mostly what I would look for is just Xanax. That's what I would look for. But if they had anything else, I would probably get those too, you know, like oxys and stuff.
So no drugs like heroin, cocaine?
Cocaine, yeah. I didn't really like to be like up. I didn't like that, like, how it made me feel. Of course, I used to, like, I've done it. If it's there, I would do it sometimes. But I didn't really like prefer it. It wasn't really my choice. Yeah. And we were going to like raves too. As soon as we hit 18, I've always listened to electronic music, and as soon as you turn 18, you know, you can start going to raves, and that's, you know, electronic music, raves, drugs. It's all it is. It's just a big drug scene, to be honest. And so we started going to those too, and I was, you know, doing ecstasy and like Molly and stuff too. and Xanax at the same time, and so those were like pretty dangerous times too. But they were fun times too, and like I still go to raves now to this day, but completely sober now. Not even a drink, nothing.
My friends and I started raving in 1999, and like that was the first time I took ecstasy, and we were into that scene, and I never heard of Xanax. I probably never heard of Xanax until that was like far behind me. The idea of like wanting to be asleep, like that concept, I'm still struggling with putting my mind around, because I know what it's like to like, we're gonna go to this rave and we're gonna do this ecstasy, and that is a very different feeling than I'm gonna knock myself out.
Yeah. So I would take ecstasy, but then I experimented and I took Xanax and ecstasy together, and I realized it just like kind of mellowed out the ecstasy, and like it mellowed it out, so it wasn't like crazy, like you weren't like rolling really hard. It just like mellowed it out, and I found like a nice balance, and sometimes I was just completely just like had no control of my body, like I was just gone.
Wow. Were any of your friends at that time saying like, hey man, like
Yeah, a few of them. I mean, my friends were also taking ecstasy and drinking and stuff, but most of them weren't getting to the level that I was. I was just like overdoing it completely. Like it was just go completely blackout or nothing at all.
I remember one of the last times I took ecstasy, I'd had taken 6 in the evening, and then it took me 2 weeks to feel normal.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I'm like, this is bad.
Yeah.
I never felt addicted to it. I liked it, but I never felt addicted to it. But when I was experiencing that, I was like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm. It's bad. I took ecstasy or Molly for like almost a year, every month, like for a whole year. That's really bad. Like they're supposed to wait like 3 months minimum in between each roll, and I was doing it like multiple days in a row at events. So there's like these raves are like 2 days, and I was doing it at little smaller shows too, club shows and stuff, for like multiple months in a row. That's like, it's really bad. As well as Xanax, as well as smoking weed and drinking all on top of it. So I just fried myself for, pretty long time.
What was it like in those times in between when you were not on something?
Well, I was always on Xanax, so and weed. Always.
But what does that mean though? But not in the day, because then you couldn't function, right?
Yeah, I would just take like little amounts. When I was really in my bad addiction phase, like right before rehab, I would take like little amounts throughout the day so that I wouldn't withdraw, and I would feel like while I was at work, so I would just feel normal. It wasn't like I wasn't like Xanaxed out or anything, but just so I could feel normal. My body wouldn't go into withdrawal.
Are there lasting effects now from all that? Like, do you realize that there's something that has stayed with you?
Not anymore. I'm pretty like good now. But right when I got out of rehab, like there was bad dreams and not being able to sleep, and like just rebound anxiety. If you know what that is, it's like rebound anxiety is like you're not on Xanax, so you have more anxiety. It just caused more, instead of like, instead of being, it just caused more anxiety instead of, anything like that. So
wow, I've heard from many people's experience saying that they need to hit rock bottom before they actually really want to change or experience something so painful or difficult, right? Did you have a moment like that?
Yeah, and it was when my friend passed away. I think that was pretty much it. Yeah.
How did he pass away?
From OD, from fentanyl. Yeah.
Fentanyl.
Yeah, fentanyl OD. Yeah, from a press pill.
So what does that mean? Like he thought it was something else?
Yeah, I think he knew like what it was. I remember seeing it, like he was showing me the pill like that same night, and I looked at it and I was like, "This is fake. Like, this is not what you think it is. This is a fake pill. Like, don't take it."
So can you take us to that night? Like, what was going on? What were you guys gonna do?
We were just hanging out. Just it was during COVID, so everything was on lockdown pretty much, and we would just hang out at his place or my place, And
What was his name?
Eric. His name was Eric. I went to high school with him. Just a good guy, quiet guy, really quiet. And then we were just hanging out, and I remember he was like, I got this, and I was like, who did you get it from? And he said who he got it from, and I was like, that guy's not credible, like, at all. Like, this is a fake pill. Like, just flush it. Like, I should have just flushed it right there, you know? I should have just taken it and got rid of it. And I went home, whatever, we wrapped up. He didn't take it or anything in front of me. We wrapped up the night, and I went home, and then I think, like, I don't know, 2-3 hours later, one of my other friends, his name is also Shaunt, called me, and he was just freaking out, and he goes like, Eric's dad called me, like, he's dead, and this, that, and I was like, I started freaking out. I remember my parents were right by me, and keep in mind, during all this, like, my parents I'm an open book, like, it's at that point of my addiction where it's like, it's just open at that point, you know, and I was like, he's dead. Eric's dead. Like, Eric, he just died, and we just, like, ran to his house, whatever. And we weren't allowed in because there was cops and things and that. So we didn't know, like, we knew, but we didn't know, like, really until the autopsy and everything happened. But obviously we knew, like, what happened, you know, what it was.
So how did that event affect you?
Well, we were pretty much like best friends. We were just hanging out, me and him, all the time. We were both like just doing drugs and being like just losers, honestly, unfortunately, but like, and just depressed and just like not knowing what we're doing with our lives. No girlfriend, no friends, nothing. Just, and I realized, like, that could have been, it was either him or me at the rate that we were going at. Because we were on a really, really bad rate. Like, the amount that I was taking, the amount of Xanax that I was taking daily was insane, was not like a normal amount. So, like, I just realized it was him or me. And I always had this thing in my head where I was like, I could wean off it myself. Like, I had enough pills. I didn't just get addicted to the pills. I got addicted to buying them too and having, like, that, just that adrenaline of going and buying the pills and stuff. I got addicted to that too. So I had a huge stash, and I remember just always saying, oh, I have so much, I can just wean off this myself. I could just do it myself. But no, you can't do it yourself.
I mean, you don't just go to a pharmacy and fill a prescription, right? These are like drug dealers.
Drug dealers. Some were prescription, and some were just pressed pills. Yeah, I did have, like, connections who had prescriptions, like, real, you know, straight from the pharmacy, and then I had other plugs that were just pressed pills. They were, like, fake. You don't even know what's inside of it, honestly. Yeah, just like research chemicals.
So did you decide in that moment, like, now you're gonna stop this?
Yeah, I think the next day I came home from work. Keep in mind, I'm working, like, during all this, I'm working, and, like, there's days where
Where are you working?
with my dad.
Oh, with your dad?
Yeah, I was working with my dad since I was 18.
Okay.
So I finished high school. I went to PCC for a little bit, and my dad, like, he said, come to the restaurant, work, because my parents also realized, like, I don't know what I'm doing, like, with my life, you know, I'm just clowning around, just, you know, playing games. So my dad brought me, I don't really, like, remember. I remember just starting, like, a couple hours, and I would go to PCC, and most of the time I would ditch my classes at PCC. I didn't even want to be there. I was taking, like, restaurant hospitality classes while I was working. And when I first started, like, working, I wasn't super into it, you know. I was just there, you know, half-assing it, you know, and I was just hanging around, washing dishes, cleaning, things like that. And my dad's kicked me out, like, 3 or 4 times, you know. He's fired me, not like fired me, but he's, like, kicked me out. I used to, like, walk in whenever I wanted, like at 9 a.m. My dad's been there since like 5:30, 6 a.m. And I would walk in at like 9 a.m. and still like messed up from the night before, like Xanaxed out and like just hungover, you know. And he'd be like, get the fuck out of here, like, get out of here, like, you're an embarrassment, you look like a mess. And we always talk about that to this day, you know. He always, like, when people tell him, like, oh, your son is so great, your son is amazing, he goes like, yeah, I know, but ask him what it took to get there, ask him how many times I've kicked him out, just, you know. And it's not like he's hating or anything like that. He knows that's what made me who I am today, you know, those actions and stuff. But during all that stuff, I was still working. I was on drugs, addicted to drugs, but still working. And as the years went by, you know, like, employees would leave and I would fill in those spots. So I had started to take some more responsibility here and there, and I moved up and I started to get more into it. You know, I was getting better. I was getting good at it. I was, you know, becoming fast. I was learning, like, business stuff and, like, how to interact with people. I was interacting well, learning on my own. Also, you know, of course I was, like, modeling, looking at my dad and following everything that he did and, you know, mimicking it. But I would also figure out things that I could do, or the way that I interacted with people. And I was fine. I was on the line cooking. It was just me and another cook. He had been there like 25, 26 years with my dad. I've known him since I was a little kid, like 4 or 5 years old. And it was me and him cooking, and he taught me everything that I know, how to cook, how to wash dishes, everything, how to make the dressings, the salsas. So I became experienced, man. I just, for like 4 or 5 years straight, all I was doing was cooking, and I was getting good, and I was getting good at it with him. But at the same time, I was on drugs, so I would slip. There was days I would slip. There's days I would come in like all messed up, and him and my dad, they would just be like, oh, he's fucked up again, he's messed up again, this, that. But I would, you know, still recover, and I got just more into it. And then like COVID hit, and when COVID hit, I really went downhill with the drugs, because there was a lot of free time. The business was just like stopped. There was no business, like very minimal business. We were closing early, so I had a lot more free time, and that's when I started using more and more, because was nothing to do. And then I know we're kind of all over the place, but it all connects, you know. And then my friend, of course, passed away, and that's what led me to finally go up to my mom. And I remember I came home. I think she was getting the mail from the front yard, and I came home from work. It was like a couple days after, and I just said, send me wherever you want to send me. I said, just send me wherever. And
had they been asking before that point to send you?
Yeah, to send, like, you need help, you need to go, you need help. They had like talked to my friend's dad, who was like a psychiatrist, doctor-ish kind of guy. And when I told him the amount I was taking, he was like, oh my, he freaked out, first of all. And he's like, oh no.
How much were you taking?
So each bar is like 2 milligrams. So I was probably taking like anywhere from 10 to 15 bars a day, which is like, I don't know, 30 milligrams, 25, 30 of those
What's
bars.
the prescription dose?
The most you could take are the bars, 2 milligram, but then you can, like, it's like broken into 4, like into quarters. So like you're supposed to like take them in like little quarters.
And you were taking 10 to 15 of a full bar a day?
Yeah, I was just like taking
a day?
2, 3 at the same time, yeah. Like I would take 2, 3 of them at the same time.
And you could stay awake and function?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, for the most part. But, you know, at the end of the day, like when the day is over, like then I would just like crash out. But during the day, I would just take normal amounts. Like I would take a half or just one.
Were you driving like that?
Yeah, so
Holy shit.
Yeah, man, yeah. I fell asleep on the freeway twice, and I hit the center divider twice. Thank God I didn't.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's bad. It's pretty bad. I was bad. My car was all messed up, and my parents would call me out on it, and I would, you know, make up little excuses. And my parents aren't stupid, man. They're not born yesterday, you know. And I thought I was like lying and getting away with it. No, but, I fell asleep twice on the freeway and hit the center divider both times.
And that wasn't enough to scare you?
No, that wasn't enough to scare me. Yeah, that wasn't enough. No. Yeah.
So you make it to rehab now, and how many times did you have to go?
Just once.
Just once.
Yeah, I went to detox for like 2 weeks. I was in detox a little longer than planned. because of the dosage that I was on, seizures and stuff like that. They can't really like send you out to rehab until you're out of the seizure zone. Like they can't just send you to rehab and if you're not fully weaned, like, or out of the seizure zone. That's what they want out.
Did you have seizures?
No, I didn't. No, I was like hooked up to like 2 IVs though. Most of it like pretty much 24/7, and I was taking like I think like Ambien or Valium or something. They were giving me like Valium, anti-seizures. They were still giving me some benzos to like wean off, but not like Xanax or anything. They were just giving me like smaller dosages of other benzos, anti-seizure stuff, and just IVs. I don't even know what was in the IVs. I just remember having to like carry those around with me at all times. Like, and like a lot of people like when I say this, they don't understand, but I had like the best time of my life in detox and rehab. I met like the coolest people, and it's sad to say like it was like a vacation. It was like a 60-day vacation. It really was, but you really like just learn so much about. It's not like not like I had fun. Like I had fun. Like I don't know how to explain it, man. It's like you're bettering yourself and learning about yourself, and it's just like that's what was so amazing about it. There's so many people you meet that share the same story as you, or like different stories. So like you hear different things.
Yeah, you get to know that you're not the only person going through this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, it was in San Clemente, so by the beach, like Orange County-ish area. Yeah, so they would take us to the beach and stuff like that, and do like activities, but and take us to like AA meetings and stuff. I didn't know what AA was, man. I had no idea what any of this was, but I got to rehab there, and when I first got there, I wasn't like and so enthusiastic. I remember having like a breakdown. I remember going into like with really bad withdrawals after detox. I was in rehab. I went into bad withdrawals. They took me to the hospital, and I tried to leave. I remember I had my cell phone still somehow, and I called my mom, telling them to come pick me up. And I was about to walk out of the hospital, and like I was just freaking out. Like, you know, I was telling them that these people just want your money. They don't give a shit about me. They don't care. But I'm withdrawing. I'm in bad withdrawal from Xanax. It's not a joke, man. Like this withdrawal from Xanax is not a joke. So, and they were just telling my mom to just stop, let him, you know, he's gonna come back, don't worry. And of course I didn't leave. I went back to rehab, and then they gave me new meds and stuff, and, you know, calmed me down. They put me on like meds during the day to calm me down, and that's when like I started to really like get into it. Yeah, and it was a Christian-based rehab, so I had an issue with that too in the beginning, because I didn't really like believe in anything. You know, when Armenians are Christian, you know, you're christened when you're a kid, but obviously when you grow older, you have your own opinions, right? Like, I didn't believe in God or anything like that. I don't know why. I just didn't. You know, I didn't. And I remember telling my mom, like, why are you sending me to a Christian base? Like, this is BS. They want me to believe in a higher power, this, that. It's like, how is a higher power gonna help me, this, that? I was just stubborn, and there was Bible study classes and stuff, and I would always brush it off, and my friends there were always telling me, come to Bible study. I was like, no, I'm not into that. I would always go to the non-Christian programs that they had. So they would have an option to go to like Christian-based program or the non-Christian. And there was a group of people who would go to the non one, and I went there. And then I listened to my friends once, and I went to a Bible study, and I've never read a Bible in my life. I was 25, I think, in rehab, 25 years, never read a Bible. I don't even know what it's about. And that's embarrassing as an Armenian. You're Christian, you know? So I went and I listened, and I just sat there and listened for those first few days of the Bible study classes, and just listened, and I started relating to the things that they were saying and understanding it, you know, asking questions, and actually got baptized in rehab.
Did you?
Yeah. they had I had an option to get baptized. Obviously, I was baptized as a kid, but this was like a choice I made, to go get baptized in rehab.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
I was going to ask you, like, what is your relationship with God and in your faith now?
Yeah, so now I go to church every Sunday, mostly. My church is kind of weird. It's at 5 o'clock at night, so it's kind of hard. Sometimes I work on Sundays. We have catering events and stuff, but if I don't, I'm there every Sunday. Church of Nazarene in Pasadena on Sierra Madre. Pastor Mano, ACOP, Armenian Christian Outreach Program. So I've been going there for a little over a year now. After I got out of rehab, I just kind of did some Zoom stuff online, churches like that. I couldn't really find a church that I could relate to. And then I met Pastor Mano, and I've been going there since then, every Sunday.
So I don't mean to be rude. I want to ask the same question again, because I don't think you answered it.
Okay.
How's your relationship with God?
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, sorry. I'm so
No,
sorry.
it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, you're right. It's amazing. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I pray all the time. And I believe, I believe in God, and I pray, and I I go to Bible studies, and it's there, man. It's there. I have a relationship with him. I built that, yeah. With God, yeah.
What's crazy is, like, after you believe, then there's a lot more questions.
Mm-hmm.
And those are natural. Those are normal, right? Like, I had a lot more questions that I used to not want to ask because I thought that they couldn't be answered. And what's crazy is that those same questions, there's never been another new question levied in over 2,000 years that hasn't been answered. But that's pretty crazy, right?
Right.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm still more like, of course, I believe in God. I have a relationship. And when I go to church, I just sit and I listen. I don't, I just listen and I take in everything. And I don't know how to explain it. I just sit and just listen, man. And I don't get like super into it, but I just hear what he has to say. And if I can relate to it, that's great. And if I can't, I just try to understand, what's being said. And yeah, that's it. Like, just very chill. Like, yeah.
And Shaunt, we ask each guest to bring an item of significance with them. What did you bring with you today?
The tattoo, pretty much. These two tattoos.
Can you show this camera here?
Yeah.
And describe to the listening audience what they are of.
It's the Mother Mary. So obviously, like, after rehab, I got baptized and I just found my relationship with God. So these are just religious tattoos. And it just reminds me of, my time in rehab and how I found, God there and Jesus and being a Christian again.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did you know Armenia was the first official Christian country?
Yes, that I know. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And it's crazy that, when I was like 15, 16, 17, 18, all those years, I just like didn't believe in anything. Yeah.
There's this idea, like, if to say you don't believe in something, like, something has to be replaced. There's just not a vacuum, right? There's this thing, and if it's not here, it gets filled with something else.
Yeah. And unfortunately, though, like, Armenian churches, when growing up as a kid, I still say this, and my dad agrees with me too. My dad is on the board of St. Mary's Church in Glendale. So in the church that I go to, Pasnaz, it's in English. Everything is said in English, and it's Armenian churches. Everything is in Armenian and like old school Armenian. These priests are like old, they're old priests, and they sing everything. Everything is sung. It's not like a service where they speak about the Bible or read the Bible or read verses or talk about current events in the world or things like that. It's not explained. Everything is like sung, and you can't understand anything. And I think if you ask any other Armenian like my age, they'll agree with me too.
It's not relatable.
It's not relatable at all. You don't understand what they're saying. First of all, they're singing too, and in the old dialect that you don't even understand, and it's not like relatable. But when you go to like these, I don't know if this is the bad way of saying, but like white churches or like, you know, just where they speak, they have services and they're speaking about things, like talking, not singing. Of course, they have a worship in the beginning, which is normal and it's cool. But then they talk about things. They talk about the Bible. They explain things to you. They explain it and you understand it. And it could be done in Armenian too, don't get me wrong. But of course, we prefer English. It's easier for me to understand it in English. But things are explained and you can understand it, which makes you more into it, which makes you understand you know, what they're talking about. And that's what it took for me to like kind of believe again and have a relationship with God. Was in rehab. They took us to churches and I for the first time in my life I could understand what was happening in a church. Let's put it that way. And I realized like, wow, this is what I needed.
You know the prodigal son story?
No.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You know the story of like leaving the 99 to find the one?
No.
Oh my gosh.
I see like I don't really like follow up. I go and I listen to the church and I sit there and listen, but I don't really like go into it on my own. Yeah.
Can I share those with you afterwards?
Please,
After the show,
yeah,
I'll share it with you.
Yeah, all the time.
I think you'll recognize immediately why I'm sharing those with you. Okay. Well, Shaunt, I want to get into, you know, your role now with the restaurant.
Yeah.
What you envision for the future of that. But let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Sometimes, even the best of us can slip up. That's why the law offices of Scott Wormuth are here to pick you back up again.
And while they strive to get you the biggest compensation possible, oh my gosh.
Their main concern is your health and recovery. They work closely with doctors and insurance companies to make sure you get the proper medical treatment.
Initial consultations are free, so give them a call.
At the law offices of Scott Wormuth, we're with you all the way.
I'm Scott Wormuth. We've been fighting for your rights for more than 40 years.
All right, we're back with Shaunt. Shaunt, before the break, you were sharing about your experience with churches. And, you know, I grew up in a Lutheran church, which is often referred to as Catholic light. So there's pastors, but they wear gowns. And I was an acolyte, and you sing, and it's very rigid, you know. And it's all I knew growing up. But I think a lot of people, when you say church, they mostly envision the Catholic Church. And until I went to like a non-denominational Christian church, I think the first one I went to was like Mosaic, right? And I was like, wow, this is dope. Like they're playing cool music and
see, that's how I felt too. It's exactly how I felt too. Yeah.
There's younger people here. There's, you know, a lot of younger people.
Yes.
And before I was like, let me, is there anybody my age? I was like there was almost nobody, you know?
Yeah. I know exactly how you feel. That's exactly how I felt.
Well, Shaunt, when we come back from the break, we like to ask questions from this deck of cards called Icebreakers, and it's just a fun way for the audience to get to know both of us a little bit better. So I'm going to answer it as well. Shaunt, who had the most influence on you growing up?
Probably my mom.
Your mom?
Yeah.
What kind of person is your mom?
My mom is, she's just very giving and loving. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. She's just the one, man. She's the one that had a lot of influence on me as a kid growing up, for sure. My dad grew up without a dad, so he didn't really show a lot of affection, like growing up, and we still don't really show like a lot of affection. My mom, not so much either when growing up, but more her than my dad. And but I always go to my mom first. I always tell my mom everything. Yeah.
Sounds like she's quite important to you.
Yeah, I tell my mom like everything. Yeah, she's the one who I go to.
Had the most influence on me? Well, you know, I would have to say my brother, my older brother for sure, who's 8 years older. And while there were a lot of negative things, there definitely were, I mean, you influenced me in so many ways, right? Or he influenced me in so many ways. He really wanted to push me, you know, really hard because he wanted me to excel or, you know, have a lot of friends or make the basketball team, do things that he didn't have the chance to do. I think he just did it. He went about it in not the healthiest ways, right? But yeah, for sure, influenced me.
In what way? How so not healthy?
Oh yeah. Okay. So
bullying.
When I entered kindergarten, they wanted to skip me 2 grades because at that time, I think I had already knew the timetables up to 12. I knew all the state capitals by memory. And on the outside looking in, they're like, oh, this is amazing, right? That came at a real hard price as a very young person, stressed out about having to learn these things, memorize these things. In basketball, like maybe I couldn't go in the house until I hit a certain number of free throws, which doesn't seem that harmful, right? But then when you don't want to do this, it's just not fun, right? Like just those kinds of things were maybe not as helpful. And then the perfectionism, right? Like feeling like I couldn't make a mistake, like literally like I couldn't make a mistake. And I'm not talking about like big mistakes. I'm talking about like very, very tiny things, that sort of thing, right? And I hate that perfectionism that has persisted in my adulthood. I used to think that was a good thing. Like I would say like, oh, like I like this, but it's not, you know, like I want my kids to make lots of mistakes. I want them to feel free to have no fear to make mistakes. And I wasn't afforded that as a kid, you know? So those are the sort of things that were not good. Yeah.
For sure.
So thanks for answering that, Shaun. Yeah. If you're watching online or listening, let us know who had the most influence on you growing up. Let us know in the comments. So, Shaunt, now when I walk in there and you're like, I think you say Russ because your dad says Russ.
Yeah, I say Russ, yeah.
So some people call me Russ, some people call me Russell.
Yeah.
But you say Russ. And so you've now are behind the register and you're greeting people at the restaurant.
Yeah.
How do you like that role?
Oh, I love it.
You love it?
Yeah. I mean, I do everything. Don't get me wrong. I'm always doing something. But I am the sole, like, greeter there now, or the, you know, who's running the show.
The face, if you will.
Yeah, I am the face now. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. And have people embraced you? Like, you know, they've recognized that you're your dad's son, and
yeah. Oh yeah, because they know. I mean, I've been there like almost 12 years now, probably since I was 18. I'm 30 now, so people have known me since I started. So they know who I am and stuff, but now it's kind of different because now I really am there running the show. I'm not just like a worker, you know, I'm not just working. Now I am there running the show, and it is pretty much my show now. My dad has to like ask me questions now, you know, about the business, like what's going on, what is this, what's this, you know, how much is this thing now? What are, you know, how this things like that. So it's yeah.
What are some things that you are taking on and holding on to from the way your dad runs it or ran it, and what are some new things that you know are your own?
Of course, the names, knowing everyone's names. That's what my dad. That's like the core of my dad's customer service, and just going above and beyond for the customer service, doing that extra little thing, extra step, you know, to make sure everyone's experience is the best that it can be. My own thing would be probably social media now. Yeah. You know,
I see you guys are a lot more active.
Yeah, I got more active. I got connected with a good social media manager, you know, who's teaching me. I don't know anything about making reels or things TikTok. I have no clue, dude. I have no idea how it is, but I'm learning. You know, I'm learning. I got those little meta glasses, the POV meta glasses. I'm taking those to catering events and throwing them on my cooks while they're cooking, and we're making little content like that, and filming reels, learning how to do that. Just so, you know, you kind of have to these days. Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And before my dad would always say, "Oh, I was here before Google, and I was here before Instagram." Right? Yeah, I know you were, but you know, it's not this. It's you gotta like keep up with it now these days. You know, so that's kind of my role now, and like my side is to keep up with what's, you know, the current events of social media and what's happening and the trends and stuff like that.
Does your dad see the value in that? Does he know that?
Now he does, yeah. Now he sees it, you know, because I do get, like, I've booked a few events off of Instagram, just off of those videos. So he knows, and of course he doesn't get involved because he doesn't know how it works. He has no idea. he can't even like copy paste anything on an iPhone. So,
oh no!
I mean, you know what I'm saying. He needs help with stuff like that. So yeah, he has no idea about the social media. He just lets me handle that, and he just goes, whenever the video is ready, just send it to me so I can put it in my phone. So he can show like people and customers and stuff. So that's my pretty much role right now. Is that's like something that I bring to the table is the social media part, and then just my own interaction with like my own customers. You know, my dad's had customers for 25, 30 years, and of course I know them too, but now I'm building relationships with new customers who are like pretty much mine now. Yeah.
And what does the demographic look like? Like, are they mostly your old customers, or do you get a new influx of new customers? Like, what does that look like?
So our customers are 99.9% regulars, you know, for 10, 15, 20 years.
In the area?
Yeah, in the area, yeah. And then there's, of course, you know, you get new people that come in all the time. And some of them stick, some of them don't, you know, not a big deal. But the ones that do stick, that are new, you know, most of them, for the most part, they go like, wow, I love this place. Like, you remembered my name, you remembered my order. And they're kind of surprised that, like, I'm like friends with them, or like the way that I treat them is like they're my friend, you know. Most people, I don't think they expect that from like a restaurant. Like, oh, I was just here to eat a sandwich, you know, and it was good. I came back, but like when they came back, like I remembered their order, or I remembered something they were telling me, and they like that, man. And then, you know, they realize what kind of a place it is, and they adapt. You know, the customer adapts too, and it's like, oh wow, this is like, we're like friends here, you know. And that's how they treat you the next time they come in. You know, they ask about, you know, your life and stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, it's not many places that, you know, that do that.
You know, I went into the restaurant to ask if you guys wanted to participate in this food passport, which we're launching, you know, next week. And we're so excited about it. You got all
my stuff.
It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. And then you ended up talking to me, and you shared a little bit about your story, and I was like, oh man, you need to capture that. Yeah. You know, and so now here we are. And I really appreciate you sharing your story.
Yeah, it's like, what restaurant do you go to, and like the owner just like tells you like he was a drug addict and he went to rehab, like, you know, openly like that, you know, like it's part of my story, like part of who I am, and that's just how I am. I'm very open, and you know how we are. We're open books there, and we share things, and it's like a personal relationship, you know.
Your dad was on the podcast, and I remember, you know, people like other people were like, "Oh, I saw, you know, these Hoagie House on there." I was like, "What?" And you must have seen or experienced the reaction from him being on the podcast. Like, some people must have like mentioned to him that they saw him.
Yeah, I think Drew from Pendulum.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But they got to learn something new about him, like probably that they didn't get to, right? Yeah. And so that's what's going to happen for you as well. Like, people are going to sit down for an hour with you and get to learn so much more about you, right? For sure. And then that relationship is even more deepened, because you may not get an hour to sit down with them at the restaurant, right? But now they've heard you and they're like, oh man, of course, I didn't know. Yep.
They didn't know, or they would be like, oh, that's where you were for like 3 months when you were gone. when we were, yeah, I remember coming back and people were like, whoa, like, where have you been, this, that. And my dad was, you know, picking and choosing like who he was telling about my situation. And some people, he was just telling some people I was on like vacation, and then other people he was actually telling. And, you know, people were like, what? Like, they were mind blown, you know, because they wouldn't expect that from me. But, you know, yeah.
And so one last question. Any plans to expand, or what's in the future for Lee's Hoagie House?
Well, we are moving in 2027, just down the street. We're moving to our own property, still in literally 30 seconds on Foothill and Altadena Boulevard. So,
oh, I know where that is.
Yeah.
Wait, that's Foothill and Altadena. There's like a shopping center, a Chevron, there's a Goodwill.
Yeah, so it's like diagonal to the Goodwill. Okay. There used to be like a liquor store. It's like a kind of torn, like a burnt out lot. It's an old lot. There was a liquor store. If it's going east on Foothill.
Oh, where the old Mexican restaurant was? Or that's too far?
No, that's too far.
Okay.
So there's like Taco La Estrella, BC Donuts. So it would be east of that, right behind that.
So there's the liquor store.
Yeah. So that's the liquor store. That's our property.
That's the building.
Yeah, the building
that you're going to take over.
Yeah, we've taken over since like COVID. It's
Oh wow, okay, awesome.
We purchased it, and then because the rent is just crazy, man. The rent right now it's killing us, and we wouldn't be able to survive in the next 3, 4, 5 years with the rent increase. No way we would be able to survive. So we saw an opportunity, and we took it, and then we're gonna be next year. Construction will start, and 2027 late, maybe August, September-ish, we'll be like moved in there.
Awesome, you guys own it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
congratulations.
That's the only. Yeah. Other than that, it will still be only one store. Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations on that. That secures the future for you guys.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, Shaunt, we're going to move on to the final segment of the show where we get to learn where you like to eat in the San Gabriel Valley. So, Shaunt, this is what we call the SGV3, and we want to know your 3 favorite places to eat in the SGV.
Okay, sushi would be Yui Sushi in Sierra Madre.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right up Baldwin. You make a left and it's right. Okay.
Yep, right on the little corner. For sure, that's the spot right there.
What do you like to get there? Are you like a sit at the bar kind of guy?
No, table.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to sit at the table, and sushi is the one time where I will have a drink. I'll have a little bit of sake and a beer.
Okay.
I like the sashimi, albacore, yellowtail, and then hand rolls, and then just regular rolls. Yeah, I have like a memorized list in my head. I don't even need the menu. I just sit down and just order right away. So that's for sure the best sushi spot in my opinion.
It probably has a great view of the mountains too, right?
Yeah,
that window.
Right there. It's the downtown Sierra Madre. Just beautiful city. Beautiful. I love that place. That whole vibe right there in Sierra Madre.
Yeah.
It's great.
And what's the second place?
For a Mexican restaurant, I like El Matador on Allen and Washington in Pasadena.
El Matador.
El Matador, yeah. It's like a, hole in the wall kind of type of place. Like, you don't really see it. It's low key, but I like it because I take my workers there. I take my employees there. Like after we're done working on like a heavy like work day, we haven't had time to eat or anything. I take them there to get a beer and eat and just chill, wind down. We like it there. They like it too. I like it because the service, we have that connection with the workers there by name, and they treat us like family, and they come and eat at our place too.
Oh.
So that's like a reason why we like going there. We support each other.
Yeah.
And the food is bomb, of course. Good, authentic Mexican food.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
awesome.
sure. Yeah.
Nice to spend that time with your crew.
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah. They're like my family, man, for sure. Yeah.
And what's the third place? Best Armenian food?
Sahara.
Okay.
Yep.
It changed ownership though, right? So
yes.
since you've been there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's how I knew Coco and Garo and the son Sevag. They were the originals, of course, for like 30 years. And now it's Varouj and his family. And both families, both owners, but both amazing families, they both are doing one did an amazing job, and now the new owners are also doing an amazing job. And we order from there on like Saturdays usually for my employees. I order for my dad, and we like to get a little change of our own food, of course. And we order there on the weekends on Saturdays. And that's probably my favorite Armenian food there too. And I got to give a shout out to Zephyrs too.
Oh, yes,
they're good too. They're great. Yeah.
Right
down the street on Colorado. Yeah, next to
looks like a house.
Yeah, it's an outdoorish. Yeah.
So for those who don't know, Sahara, they have a charcoal grill.
Yes,
inside.
They are grandfathered in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think they're the only one in Pasadena that has that. Yeah.
Because you can't do that.
No, you can't. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the flavor of charcoal grilled meat, you can't beat it.
Yep. It's the best, yeah. There's Mediterranean Cafe too. His name is Shaunt as well on Lake and like Shoppers Lane. They're great too. I got to give a shout out to them too.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, Shaunt, thank you so much for, sharing your story with us and allowing us to experience, that with you. And I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
And then for coming here, just straight from work, you literally just worked a full day and drove here.
Yeah. So I've been up since 4:00 in the morning and just came straight here. But this is what I love to do.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let the listener know how to connect with you. Where's the restaurant? All that stuff.
Okay, yeah, sure. You can follow us on Instagram, of course. That's Lee's Hoagie House, all one word. And we're 2269 East Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena, Colorado and Roosevelt to be exact. Yep, we're
Awesome.
open, 7 to 4 every day except Sunday.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Shaunt.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. Another episode for you. What a vulnerable conversation here. I'm very honored whenever a guest can be so vulnerable and authentic and share these things that not everybody has the courage to share. We are privileged to hear this experience, to see how another individual has come through, a very difficult time, and be willing to share that with us and to gain something, whether it's inspiration or hope. If you or someone that you know is currently going through this, or you want them to have some hope, please do share this episode with them. If you like this kind of content, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like and share. And if you want to check out more of our episodes, check out our website, mysgv.net. Don't forget, you can pick up the food passport at mysgvfoodpassport.com. And until next week, we'll see you then. Thank you for joining us on the MySGV podcast. Check out more of our content on our website, mysgv.net. This show was produced by Scott Wormuth, directed by Russell Mano, edited by Victoria Allers, and original music by Yone OG. If you'd like to join us next week as we capture and share more stories from our diverse community, feel welcome.
Nice matter. No, kind of matter.